Raven Smith's latest piece on With Love Meghan does what he does best. Writes like he's too chic to care, while still caring enough to dedicate paragraphs to Meghan's success. He frames the show as polished, pumice, easy watching. Not worth the internet rage. But that's the point. Even in trying to minimize it, he admits it's Netflix's most watched culinary show, anchored by Meghan's influence and star-studded guests. The subtext? Meghan wins whether the press rolls their eyes or not. And it's worth knowing who's behind that tone. Raven Smith is a columnist for Vogue. The kind of culture commentator who thrives on wry detachment and clever turns of phrases. He's also a Sunday Times best-selling author of Trivial Pursuits and Raven Smith's Men. And he's built a career out of being that stylish observer with a sharp side eye on modern culture. With over 300,000 followers on Instagram, his voice sits in that glossy middle space. Not outright hostile like the tabloids, but never unguardedly supportive either. So when he writes about Meghan, it's less a takedown than a performance of his brand. Ironic, aloof, but undeniably acknowledging her impact. Because the truth is, if Meghan weren't moving culture, Raven wouldn't be writing about her at all. Well, buckle up. Because nothing says survival anthem quite like funding the very folks pushing for your erasure. Gloria Gaynor, whose immortal hit I Will Survive is the anthem of resilience especially cherished by queer folks, has apparently been channeling cash into the MAGA ecosystem. And now, to top it off, is accepting an honor from Donald Trump himself. Talk about I Will Survive. Except maybe you won't survive without the very people you just turned your back on. Let's break it down. Nearly $22,000 in donations since August 2023. Yes, she reached into her wallet and shelled it out to right-wing campaigns, all while being buoyed into iconic status by the LGBTQ+ and Black communities. She's accepting a Kennedy Center honor from Trump, who's not just the MAGA poster boy, but also someone who's actively dismantled the Kennedy Center's previous leadership and provoked widespread outrage in the arts and the LGBTQ+ circles. Community outroar is politely furious. Anna Navarro, co-host of The View, put it best and probably a lot more tactfully. Quote, "The gay community helped turn her song into an anthem. Trump is a stain on the prestige," end quote. Anna begged Gaynor not to take the honor. I mean, come on, Gloria. Did she really think nobody would notice? I mean, I Will Survive is not just a disco track. It was adopted by the LGBTQ+ community as a rallying cry. It's the "you can't keep me down" banger for marginalized communities. And here you are, doing the political equivalent to setting fire to the anthem's meaning with your donations, to the powers actively revoking our rights, then to accept a Kennedy Center award from the architect of the erasure, the same guy who took over the venue, fired board members, replaced art with ideology, and ousted woke programming like a reality TV villain. Only this is real life. It's not just disappointing, it's downright tone deaf. You're essentially giving thumbs up to the people who, if given a chance, would sell your legacy for campaign fodder. What's even more astonishing is your public message, that accepting the honor lets you continue to inspire. What planet is that from? You may inspire confusion, disillusionment, and a deeply existential "what the fuck, Gloria" moment. Because inspiration only counts when there's integrity beneath the spotlight. So in a nutshell, Gloria Gaynor has apparently decided that I Will Survive really means I will survive without accountability, without awareness, and definitely without the community that actually made you an icon. Tragic, iconic, and utterly infuriating. If the irony isn't loud enough already, I Will Survive is now being used to prop up the very machinery that institutionalized survival's antithesis. Sorry, but we're not buying the redemption arc this time.
Do genuinely feel that. You could never imagine not loving your child, whether they were the worst person in the room or the best person in the room. Grace, thanks so much for that. Let's go to Janice in Essex. What do you think, Janice, about this?
Hi, Vanessa. Hi, panel. I don't understand how this is going to work because allegedly Meghan is doing a documentary for Netflix about Diana. Now, the boys said once they did that, that would be the end. It would be no more. So I think Charles might be able to reconcile, but I don't think
William.
I know they've got Beatrice or, oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit tongue-tied.
You're thinking of William. Janice, I haven't heard that Meghan's making a documentary about Princess Diana. Has anyone else heard
I
that?
have.
All I heard was that Prince Harry was warned not to make a documentary about Princess Diana. That's what I read in the paper.
But we certainly haven't heard that they are going ahead with that at all.
No.
So I think, Janice, that might not be a factor, because I certainly haven't heard that this is among the raft of commissions that Netflix may or may not.
You gotta love the Sussex Squad. Really quick here. It is so funny how now we understand what privacy is, because for some reason Harry and Meghan saying it, people were like, I don't understand, but they're always on TV. Privacy is the basic humanic boundary where I don't care what I put out there. You have no right to my front door. You have no right to my living space where me, my husband, and children reside. You have no right to anything that is personal and dear to me. Now, if I share that with you, that's a whole nother can of worms. But that doesn't mean you can keep going beyond the threshold of what I say you can go through. And honestly, this ugly, because that house is ugly, and I don't even think once it's remodeled it's going to be anything to write about. But this home is just more greed and gluttony that we've grown to know in the royal family, especially with the heir and the current king. It's just they're never satisfied. It's just they are perpetually unsatisfied. Now, I'll leave out what I think this house is, because I don't want the Katie Rangers coming in here. What I'm going to say is this. While I truly believe that Kate and Will never have any issues with privacy, I don't understand why you all allow one woman to have it because, oh, she had cancer. Oh, the queen passed away, which she was 95 years old. Hello. And all of these litany of excuses as to why you all feel like she deserves this bigger home. Yet Meghan, who has death threats on her hourly, not daily, hourly, somehow cannot use the same term. And she didn't even ask for privacy. What she asked simply was for understanding and to not try to pull more out of her and her husband, because it's a threat to them to have to share everything. And I remember when Meghan's show first aired and everybody had a tantrum and why is she doing it in her own home? And she made it abundantly clear, look, my kids come home. I don't need them coming back to all the cameras and chaos. Aisha Curry tried the same thing and regretted it immediately, and then took her show off site so that her children can come home to some normalcy and not have camera crews and boom mics all in the entryway. But yeah, funny. Privacy. Now it's allotted. You fucking hypocrites. Anyway, talk to you guys later. Bye.
Shouldn't you have an expectation that you're going to have to lose privacy?
Well, it's two things here.
That's part of the deal.
Two things here. I think everyone has a basic right to privacy. Basic, right? Mm-hmm. And we're not talking about anything that anybody else wouldn't expect. So if you're at work and you have a photograph of your child on your desk and your coworker says, oh my gosh, your kid's so cute, that's fantastic, can I see your phone so I can see all the pictures of your child? You go, no, this is the picture I'm comfortable sharing with you. And then if they double down and say, no, but you already showed me that one, so you have to show me everything. You know what, I'm just going to hire someone to sit in front of your house or hide in the bushes and take pictures into your backyard because you've lost your right to privacy because you shared one image with me. Mm-hmm. That's sort of the flawed argument and its operating mechanism that they're confusing people to think. I think life is about being able to share our stories and share parts of our lives that you're comfortable with. There's no one who's on Instagram or social media that would say, because I shared this one picture, that entitles you to have my entire camera roll. Go ahead, look through it. No one would want that. So it's about boundaries and it's about respect. They've created a false narrative. I've never talked about privacy. Mm-hmm. I think that's just a basic understanding.
No, nor should they be forgiven. The problem is, as you rightly said, they went to California for privacy because they didn't want to be part of the royal family, the Goldfish Bowl, and they've done the exact opposite. They've gone out of their way.
They didn't go to seek privacy, Tom. You know that. People have been over this time and time again. They went over there to avoid what was going on here in Britain. They never said that they wanted privacy. They wouldn't have signed a deal with Spotify, with Netflix, if they wanted complete, total privacy. They wanted to protect their family on their terms.
That's just not, that's it. I'm sorry to hear this, it's accurate. You look at the statement they made when they left in January 2020. They said, we want privacy. We don't want to be reported anymore. We don't like being...
Oh, Tom. How wrong you are. And we're going to read those statements. What did Meghan and Harry actually say? Because unfortunately we live in a time where people do not like to go read. They just read headlines. And they don't go and just read things for themselves, but yet they still want to have an opinion about something that they have not researched or read themselves. Isn't that amazing? So this is the post from their Sussex Royal Instagram. And I think this is what most people read when this first was revealed back in January of 2020. And it reads, after many months of reflection and internal discussions, we have chosen to make a transition this year in starting to carve out a progressive new role within the institution. We intend to step back as senior members of the royal family and work to become financially independent while continuing to fully support Her Majesty the Queen. It is with your encouragement, particularly over the last few years, that we feel prepared to make this adjustment. We now plan to balance our time between the United Kingdom and North America, continue to honor our duty to the Queen, the Commonwealth, and this geographic balance will enable us to raise our son with an appreciation for the royal tradition into which he was born, while also providing our family with the space to focus on the next chapter, including the launch of our new charitable.
When you marry into that family, you are expected to be exactly what they want, and you have very little say yourself. I mean, you must spend every Christmas with the Queen and the rest of your royal relatives. It is inconceivable that you might wish to spend that time with your own family. They just draw you in and lock you into that world, and there's no going back. I think she's been trying to expose the inner workings of the royal family so that something better can come out of that. I think she was desperate to find an avenue to let the world know what was going on, not just for her own benefit, but for the benefit of the entire royal family. It seems to me that she feels that the royal family are locked into a time warp, and unless they break...
Critics, you know, maybe they're going home and they're making my skillet spaghetti anyway. Have you made anything from the last season? And you did?
Yeah.
For professional purposes or because you liked the recipe, Samara?
Both. I liked it. I liked it.
Are they saying negative things and then secretly going home and making single skillet spaghetti? Possibly.
Series and was down below the top 300.
But also, but in its culinary category, genre, it was one of the top shows.
But the thing is, it generates publicity. It gets us all talking.
That's true.
Doesn't it?
Honestly, it'll be front pages tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing, and people will talk about it. They talk about it on social media. They talk about it in news.
Yeah.
We're talking about it now.
Yeah.
You know, we're dedicating a whole show just to this one series. Yeah.
And I think you're absolutely right. Sorry. I think you're absolutely right, is that, you know, whether people are going into it with an open mind thinking, here is a cooking show and here's a crafting show and it's done by Meghan and Duchess of Sussex. Let me watch it with an open mind and let me watch it to maybe find a recipe that I might like or a skill I might pick up. People are going in it because they either really, really like her or really, really hate her. And it's going to get so many streams from people that are hate watching. I mean, I could just never waste my time like that. If I didn't like something or didn't like someone, what I would never do is watch the whole series and then bitch about it online, because that's a massive waste of your life.
Definitely. I mean, going into that, I wouldn't watch it again because I did learn nothing. And I appreciate your view that...
So you weren't doing the QR code for the recipes?
No.
That was new, wasn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is, it's, you know, they say all publicity is good publicity. I actually don't think so in this case. Yes, we are all talking about it, but not for the right reasons. We're not talking about this amazing, parata that she made with Jay Shetty. We're talking about how terrible and lobotomized she is and how she can't actually, communicate to an audience. And she's trying to sell jam. That's the main thing of this whole thing. So I don't think it's actually great publicity, and I don't think it's a good thing that people are talking about this Netflix series in such a way.
But this is the thing, is that but we are talking about it differently. You don't like it, so you are talking about it negatively. I did like it, I'm talking about it positively. And actually that's what we have to recognize, is that there is people out there who are not you, and that's okay, who will love it, and there is people out there who are not me.
There's a small percentage who will like it.
I mean, I don't know how much the percentages is, and maybe I'll go out and do a survey. But you also do have to accept that there is people out there who will like it. Just because you don't doesn't mean that everybody hates it. And the same way for me, just because I like it doesn't mean that everybody else will. And I think we have to come from a place of balance, which when it comes to Meghan, the Duchess, when it comes to Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, that is lost. There doesn't seem to be balance. I think people will either come from being very negative or very positive without a sort of, overview of it.
I guess it depends.
The way Meghan Sussex just told the British media, I see you, and without me there would be no you. In a new interview with Bloomberg in conjunction with the release of With Love Meghan today, or a second season With Love Meghan, as well as the new launch of As Ever products, this is what Meghan had to say.
It's been interesting preparing for this interview because every day you search for your name and there's like 1,000 different news stories about 1,000 different things.
Yes.
And so...
But I guess the distinction there is those people don't know me and they're not talking about me. But equally, it's not me that they're talking about. It's some caricature they've had to create to get clicks. And I'm very clear on the difference between the two.
I could not have explained that any better, honestly. They are already proving that she is more popular than the members of the British royal family. They know she gets more clicks and they make more money off of her name than King Charles, Queen Camilla, Prince Andrew, and the Welleses who don't work for shit. That should tell you something. Now, in regards to Meghan and owning her own story, these are her words I would love for you to hear, not mine. So let's roll the clip.
Do you feel like you own your own story?
I know I do. Mm-hmm. And if you know me, you know that I do. But I think the more comfortable you get with yourself, certainly age helps. I'll be 44. It's great. It's great. And I just think there really is a lot of value to when you anchor into your own knowing, then you're telling your own story.
When I specifically hit 30, I couldn't care less about what the next bitch said about me. You know why? Because I've never been talked down about by somebody that's doing better than me. I really am enjoying, if this is a taste of what we can get in the future with a memoir, I'm living for it. You can watch the entire interview on YouTube. Just type in Bloomberg, Meghan Markle, it pops up. It's a really good watch, highly recommend. And if you have watched it, or if you just watched the clips that I showed you, let me know your thoughts below. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Mwah. Bye.
One of our private secretaries on the phone and saying, I know you're seeing this on television, but you really have to be here in London to feel the atmosphere. People here are really anti-monarchy. And I have to say, yeah, I was worried in terms of, well, where is this going to go?
We were getting phone calls from members of the public saying, well, where's the Queen in all this? Why haven't we seen her? Why isn't she with us mourning our Diana? People wanted to see the Queen. They were angry that she wasn't there.
I can't remember a time when the Queen has ever been criticised to the degree that she was.
Everybody was taken by surprise by the scale of it. Almost like a national spasm. The Lord Chamberlain said to Tony Blair, we're going to need some help on this.
For the royal family, still in Balmoral, private tragedy was turning into a public relations crisis of historic proportions. Finally persuaded to return to London, the Queen had no option but to turn to the media in her hour of greatest need, making an unscheduled, not to say unprecedented, TV broadcast to the nation.
Since last Sunday's dreadful news, we have seen throughout Britain and around the world an overwhelming expression of sadness at Diana's death.
I can remember saying it's very, very important that she's there speaking not just as the Queen, but as a grandmother.
What I say to you now, as your Queen and as a grandmother, I say from my heart. First, I want to pay tribute to Diana myself.
Without doubt, that was the turning point. You could feel that happening. You could feel it. And that day, when I walked back from the palace back to number 10, it was a different mood.
Honestly, one of the things I miss the most about the UK
looks nice.
is the radio station.
Our radio's so good.
Magic.
Magic FM?
Magic
wow.
Meghan Markle's got taste.
That's such a grandma station.
Oh my God, shut up, Tam.
Well, that's a grandma's haircut, Tan. Also, nothing wrong with grandmas.
I love the fact that Meghan is listening to Magic. She's got great taste.
Yes, every human alive today is a descendant of a black African woman. That is the structural and biological truth. Mitochondrial Eve lived in East Africa around 150,000 to 200,000 years ago. She was a black African woman, as all humans at that time were. She is the matrilineal ancestor of every person alive today. Every living human's mother's line leads back to her. Whether you're from China, Sweden, Brazil, India, Iran, or the US, if you are alive today, your unbroken maternal line comes from a black woman from Africa. And since humans interbred across lineages, all other lines also trace back to Africa, even if not through the maternal line. Every person alive today is the child, through their mothers, of a black African woman. That is not metaphor, that is human ancestry.
Hello, my people, Lady Rosie here. How y'all doing? Now, all my new subscribers, you're welcome. And my returning subscribers, you all know I love you. Guys, what's going on with Mambolina and the husband? What's going on with Mambos? Did you all see the article that says Mambos, Mambleton, Mambolina, Mumbus. That's how the Minister of Hacks guy calls her. Mumbus. Did you read the article that says like Mambo's quit her job? She actually temporarily got pulled from a royal duty after her soft launch return after her cancer diagnosis. Did you all see that? Oh, brother. Oh my goodness. So you saying something? I'm making a video unless you want to come talk about anything.
Oh yeah, we made it big time now to get that check money.
Get out of there with your check. Somebody's going to read on your check. This guy's trouble. Baby, you trouble.
Oh.
So guys, you heard that part, right?
Hey, look at this. What do you want me to do? Hey, this is a real deal. They ain't playing around.
Yeah, they ain't playing around. Yeah, serious. That bling bling.
Said that we can get together. We got a lot of work to do.
For you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
said that was a good price. Right?
So guys, yeah, y'all heard about that, right? So right now she's out in that place there. I'm not really sure. Those palaces, I tell y'all guys, I stay out here with Daniel, I tell you. Because those palaces are not worth it. You got all the money. You got all the palaces, my brother. That woman is suffering. She's living in a prison. That's like an open sky prison. Oh, y'all guys, I'm just going to shut up. Let me go mind my business. I got lots of stuff to do. I'll talk to y'all guys again later. I love you. Bye for now.